Hey, what's up, y'all? I was just thinking and reflecting on the blog post I wrote yesterday, and the first thing that a healthcare provider should be providing to their clients is a listening ear. So if you go to somebody, whether it's a physician or a physical therapist or chiropractor, whoever, and they're talking more than you, they're not listening to what you're having to say, it's probably time to find a new person to go to. As much as I love educating people and as much as a lot of my colleagues love educating, it's really important that we listen, because most times that is going to help us narrow in on what's going on in the first place and what's important to you. The second portion of the blog post was focused on not only the provider listening to what the client has to say. So let's say you go in to see your physician or your physical therapist, whoever, and they're listening. Okay, great. Well, the next step of that, there should be a plan put in place. That first visit, if there's not a plan put in place where you understand it, then something is missing. That communication is not there. And it needs to be refined. So it's really important to, like I talked about in the previous video, where the provider is listening, where your healthcare provider is listening, and then also, number two, that there's a good plan to go off of. Just going off of the third bullet point of the blog post I wrote a couple days ago, once the provider has listened to you, once they have created a plan with you and you both have a good understanding of where to go forward, where that path leads, the next thing should be progressing movement, progressing exercise. Sometimes it is faster, sometimes it is slower, but over time it should be a progression. So it shouldn't be that by the 6th week, you are doing the same sets and reps and weight and all of that type of stuff. That is lazy progression, and that should never happen. So if you notice that that's happening, please change people you're going to, or at least let the person know, like, hey, why haven't we progressed? Is there a reason behind that? Just because it worked for you, whether you're a patient or a provider, does not mean that it is backed by the evidence to work for somebody else. Maybe it worked because you trusted that person, or that person trusted you. Maybe it's not because you have a special technique. Maybe it's not because you are the guru and you have figured out something else nobody else knows. If it worked for somebody, that's wonderful. But it's likely not due to your specific technique. It's likely not due to anything special other than you progressively loaded that person, or that person trusted you. And usually it's those two things together. There's trust built, and you have a progression of movement. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be a progression of weight, but just of different types of movements and time. Just think about that.